Welcome to my channel Boomsy Beauty. My name is Juliana. If you're new here, you're highly welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thanks for clicking on this video. If you're not subscribed to my channel yet, please do make sure you subscribe. On this channel I do colorful looks and I also do a lot of swatching, first impressions and review. So if you love color and you love shimmers, then this is the right channel for you to be on. So in today's video we are going to be demonstrating this new palette from Plouise, and it is the Watch the Queen Conquer palette. So this palette was brought out for Black Friday, and it went on a sale immediately. So it wasn't like she had it on her site already. It came out during Black Friday and it came out at a reduced price. The peculiar thing about the palette is it's a two-toned palette. So you've got like a chessboard separating it, and then you've got different color story on each side. So this is the purple and the pink side, and then you have the greens, orange and yellow kind of side. So this palette's color story is absolutely beautiful. When I saw it, I didn't even think twice. I didn't think about the fact that I don't like her bulky packaging. I just put it in my cart straight away. And having done this look, I definitely don't regret picking up this palette. And for this video, that's what we're going to be doing. So if you'd like to know how I created this two-toned color look, then please keep on watching. So the plan for this look is to do one side on one eye, for now anyway, as a first impression. So I'm going to be using this side on one eye and then going with the oranges and green on the other eye. I'm going to be starting on the green side, and I think I'm going to have the oranges on my lower lash and then have greens on my upper lash. But as I pick up the shade, I will tell you what the name is and possibly have the palette on the screen. I'm taking the shade Piece of Me, which is a yellow, and I'm going to put that in my lower tear duct. So my lower lid, just building that up. Looks a bit sheer because I could have used a lighter primer, probably Uoma base 2, but just wanted to see what you can do on my normal base. Going into Can't Compete, which is an orange shade, and I'm putting that next to the yellow. And I'm just going to stop right just before my outer lid, and then going into a darker orange called My Turn. This is like a mixture of orange and red. So it's not so much darker than the orange I've first used, Can't Compete. It's not too different to that. But I like that tone. It's really nice. It almost looks like a red, but I don't really think it's a red. I definitely think it's an orange red. And just leaving that there. Alright, for the front part of my upper lid, I'm going with the shade called Conquest, which is some sort of, it's not neon green, but it's green, which on my lid is actually very close to that first yellow I put on, Piece of Me. There isn't much difference between them. I know there would have been a difference on a lighter base, but on this base there's not much of a difference. I'm now going into the shade Opposition, which is like a brown, red brown. Yeah, it's like wine red brown. Oh gosh, that is gorgeous. This shade is so beautiful. I think it's wine. Such a gorgeous shade. I'm just gonna put that all over my outer lid. Right, now that I've got that on where I want it, what I want is to put that shade a little bit on my lower lid so that it's kind of cohesive. So going into Opposition with a smaller brush, I'm just going to link it to my lower lid. Yeah, so it hasn't taken too much away from the orange red, or at least now it's not feeling as disjointed as it was before. Alright, taking the shade Tactical Green, which I've more or less started already. I'm putting that in between those two shades to kind of merge them together. So it's like an army green shade. So I'm taking that right to the end of my upper lid, but just stopping by my crease. So I'm not taking it higher because I still want that wine to be showing. And I'm also going to bring it a little bit in the front part of my lid. Now going back into Conquest, I'm going to blend those two shades together on the crease just near my tear duct. So basically where the two meet. And then going back into tactical, I'm just going to keep on doing that until I get a perfect blend. Then now going back into opposition, the wine, I'm just going to make sure that that's still showing perfectly on my outer crease. Just gently kind of merge the two colors down in the middle of my crease. I'm just going to bring tactical a little bit onto my lower lid, or I want to keep it to my lash line. So using like an angled brush, I'm just going to keep that on my lash line. Okay, it's time for the shimmers. Okay, there aren't many shimmers in this on this side, so I'm going to keep most of my lid matte. So I'm only going to apply the shimmers on my lower lid and the inner part of my eye. And that's because I don't want to take away from the look of the green and the burgundy. I like the way it is, so I don't want to mess it with lighter shimmers. So I'm just going to keep my shimmers to the innermost part of my eye. For the innermost part, I'm going with that shimmer, and it's called Victory. I'm going to try not to spray it and just see if it will perform well without me spraying it and it won't give me any fallout, and it seems to be working. So I'm just placing that right on the innermost part of my eye and just extending it a little bit on my lower lid, which I'm going to place another shade. And then next to Victory, I'm putting a orange shimmer called Ruler. So Ruler of a Kingdom. I'm taking that a little bit just by where the orange was, so kind of like a third of my lower lid, and just blending that first shade together with it, Victory. Alright, going into the shade Gambit. I did spray that because it looked a bit flaky, so for this I'm going to put in the innermost part of my eye next to Victory. So I'm going to drag it a little bit into my crease. So a little bit is going all over my lid, but that's fine because I'm going to lay down the matte all over it again. But I just want a little bit of hint of that green right in the front part of my lid. It's very difficult for me to have an all matte lid. It's just very difficult. So going back to the shade Tactical, I'm going to cover it with a little bit of the matte. And then lastly, just making sure that Victory shade in my inner corner is still popping. Okay, and I think that's it for this eye, so I'm going to move on to this eye now. Alright, for this eye, I think I want to really keep to these shades here and maybe use a little bit of the lighter pink to kind of have like blending shades, but mostly I just want to stay in this side here, darker purples and pinks. Right, again starting with my lower lid, I'm going with the shade called Game Over, which is just like a bubblegum pink. The first shade I used actually is called Defeat, not Game Over, but Game Over is written on the imprint on the shade, not the name. It's actually called Defeat. And next to Defeat, I'm going with a shade called Positions, which is okay, not slightly. It's darker than that bubblegum pink. I want to say this one is fuchsia pink, so this is closer to red. And next to Positions, I'm going with like a mauve purple shade called Seas. And then for the outer part of my lid, I'm going with this purple shade called Takeover. This is like the darkest purple in this palette. I'm just laying that down on the outer edge of my eye. So this isn't giving me any fallout so far, which I actually thought it was going to give me a fallout, but seems to be blending in. So I'm pretty much going with the shape I have here and the method I used on the eye, really. So that even if they are not the same color, but at least they've got some sort of similarities. I'm bringing in that shade Takeover, the purple, right on the outer part of my lower lid, again just to give it coherence. Alright, for the inner part of this lid, I'm going with the shade called Checkmate. I'm just putting Checkmate in the front part. Okay, that's that. Now what is left for is the main part of my lid, which I don't really know what color to use. So I really want the look to be like this, where I use like a totally different color to the outer edge. So I'm just going to pick up a shade that will be different to the purple. Okay, I think I'm going to go with this shade, which is called Direction, which is probably going to be a terrible mistake, but I'm going to do it anyway. This is what I'm going to put on the main part of my lid. So I'm just going to place that all over my lid. I'm going to change my brush. This is a stupid Morphe brush which is not laying down the shade properly. I'm going with the same brush I used to apply the green because that seemed to lay down the color well. Anyway, I wiped the green off and now I'm using that to apply the orange. I don't even know what to call this shade. It looks like orange maroon, but the name is Direction. But we're going to see how that will mix with the purple. So also bringing it towards the pinks I have in the innermost part, just laying it over the pink. They all seem to be mixing and playing together well. The shade Direction on my eye now at the moment looks red, so just gently laying that down on my crease, and that's why I'm going to stop the color because I still want that purple to be showing through. Okay, that's the placement done, so all that is left is to blend all the colors together. Alright, starting with Take Over, the purple shade, I'm now going to blend that into Direction, and I'm going to change my brush to a packing one just to pack the color all over that red. It just seems to be working. I think for me it's just the way it's all blending together, no patchiness, one color on top of the other. It's just, wow, it's so beautiful. I mean, Plouise shadows are just, they are beautiful. The mattes, they blend so well together, effortlessly. The purple seems to have blended well into the red, so I'm good with that. I think I'm going to leave it there for now anyway. And then the next thing is to just blend the pinks into the reds. So going back into Checkmate, which is the color I put in the innermost part of my eye, I'm just going to bring that back and then merge it with the red and the purple. So on my crease where they meet, it's like a party of colors there. So it's not a precise kind of blend, it's just all the three shades still showing on my crease, which is what I want, just like I had over here. And then making sure I don't lose that pink that was in my inner corner defeat. So bringing that back right there. Oh, I like that. And then just making sure that the colors on the lower lids are still showing. Okay, I think I'm good with the matte now, so it's time for the shimmers. I think for the shimmers I'm going to do exactly what I did on this eye, so just pretty much in the lower part of my lid and in my inner tear duct. Yeah, just so that I keep to how this one looks. Plus, I just love the way the matte blended together, so I'm satisfied with it. I'm going to leave it like that. So I'm just going to apply shimmer in my inner corner, just exactly like this. So these are the options I have for shimmers, and that's just what I'm going to work with. So I'm planning, maybe this is my inner tear duct, this is on my lower lid, and just a mixture of this somewhere. I don't think that purple is going to go anywhere because it's going to be too dark for this look. So it's going to be between these four shimmers. I'm first going in with the lightest of the shimmers, and it's called Elevate. So I'm going to put that right in my tear duct area. This is actually bordering on white. I think it's a pink with reflects of white. Oh, that's what that looks like for now anyway. And then going into the next pink shade called Make It Count. I'm going to put that next to Elevate. That is a beautiful shade of pink, and I think I have fallout because I didn't wet it. And that pink is really pigmented and beautiful. And for the top of my eye, the corner of my ridge, the ridge of my nose, I am going to use the shade called Rival. Kind of like the tones of Rival. At the moment I'm just placing and just kind of like taking it up to the crease, taking it higher up, exactly as I did on this eye, and just capturing it there. On the top there. So basically I'm leaving like hints of shimmers, hints of shimmer right here on the top of my crease, and then blending Elevate into Rival. I'm also going to make sure that the shimmer is not taking over the matte on my lid, so I'm bringing back direction on my crease, because I literally want the shimmer to stay right in the corner. Then just making sure that Elevate is still popping in my inner tear duct. And that's it for the look. So that's it for the shimmers and the mattes. So I'm just going to finish up my look with eyeliners and my lashes, and I'll be right back to show you the finished look. Alright guys, I'm back, and this is the completed look. I'm using the new Plouise Watch the Queen Conquer palette. So this is what the eyes are looking like. So up close. Alright, let's talk about the palette. This palette's formula is absolutely gorgeous. This palette feels to me like Blend Bunny Cosmetics and Swatch and Blends palette. This palette is beautiful. I mean, this is not the first time I'll be using Plouise palette. The Christina palette was the first Plouise palette that I used, and I remember using that palette and thinking, wow, the mattes just blended themselves, especially with the method I use, because I just used the brush to kind of lay down the shades. They blended themselves. I mean, they were like my shadows to blend. He blended beautifully, effortlessly. At least the way I like my mattes to be blended, he blended beautifully. That palette was gorgeous, and this seems to be exactly the same formula. At least all the mattes I use, you saw they blended themselves. I didn't have to do anything extra to blend them. I just laid them down and they kind of diffused onto my lid, which is why I like a formula, despite the fact that I ate the packaging, you know. But the shadows are beautiful, both matte and shimmers. I mean, using this side, I had to lay this green on top of the dark purplish color I had already used on the side, and he showed up, he laid up properly. There was no patches, he just laid on top of each other. Despite the fact that both of them are dark colors, they both laid on top of each other. It was a nice experience applying these shadows. And the same go for the purple side as well. I mean, you saw me blend that purple shade. He had no fallout. He blended beautifully. And the next shade I used on top of it, which is, I mean, I don't really think they're in the same color story, but again, that blended beautifully on top of the purple. Absolutely beautiful formula. I just wish the palette are not as bulky, but the formula, you cannot fault it. You can't fault it. So let me know in the comments which of the eye you prefer. I think the green one is my favorite, but let me know which one you prefer. Okay, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed this look. If you have, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I'll see you.